In this video, I'll show you how to replace the starter for a Toyota Corolla, Toyota Matrix, and the Pontiac Vibe. They are the same, they are identical, so the process is the same. And this is for the year of 2002 to 2008. That's the first generation. The car that I'm working on in this video, it's a 2004 Pontiac Vibe. So it is the same process for the Toyota Corolla and the Toyota Matrix. The top bolt is right here where the arrow is, and the lower bolt is down here where the arrow is, and they both are a 14mm bolt. Make sure that you remove the battery, at least the battery negative cable on the battery, because it can make sparks if you don't do that when you remove the starter. So it is not safe to remove it with the battery connected. So I am removing that here. And then from there, the next step is to remove the fan, the radiator fan, and that is easy. It only has 2 bolts. You can see where I'm removing one here. It's right underneath that radiator hose, and then it has a connector, an electrical connector to the fan, and also one little hose that you can't see in this video that goes on the radiator. No water, no antifreeze is going to be spilled here. That little hose is just for the reservoir for the radiator. I was having a little bit of trouble with the connector for the cooling fan, so I found that it's better to just remove the fan first and then remove that connector after you have it out, so you have more space. So as you can see here, it is much better. You can see it, you have more grip on the connector to take it off. I am trying to remove the lower bolt for the starter here, but I'm having trouble with the longer ratchet, so I'm getting a smaller one. I found that it's easier to use that one because you have more space with that one to turn it. My car is a stick shift or a manual transmission, so I have that slave cylinder there. If yours is an automatic, you won't have that there. Here's the other bolt. As you can see, it's much easier when you take out the battery. You have more space to work on it, and I'm using a longer ratchet here. I have more space for that, so this one is easier than the lower one. And to remove the cable that comes from the battery to the starter, the main cable, you can remove it after you remove the bolts for the starter if you have an impact wrench. It's easier to remove it before you remove the bolts for the starter. So remove the connector first and the cable that comes from the battery, and then remove the bolts. I removed the bolts for this starter first and then removed the connectors after, because I used a impact wrench to remove those, so it was easy to remove them when I had the starter out like that, because now I can see it better. I have more space this way, but that's with an impact wrench. As you can see there, I tried to do it with just a ratchet, but it wasn't easy because nothing was holding the starter. So I did it with an impact wrench. You don't see that here. I forgot to record that. And as always, when you're replacing a part, always compare them, the new with the old. I'm comparing the starter here. I can see that everything looks the same. The connectors, the starter gear, and where the bolts go as well. So I am ready to install the starter. But first, before I do that, I wanted to test the starter first, even if it's a new starter, because it's been my experience that even new parts are bad from straight out of the box. So this starter, I'm testing it before I install it in the car, and also to compare that with the old starter. To test a starter, you can use a jumper cable like this. The positive lead goes on the positive side of the battery, and also the negative on the negative side of the battery. And on the starter, you can see that I'm putting the positive lead on the stud where the battery cable goes on the starter, and the negative is going on the body of the starter. To give a signal to the starter to start, like when you turn on the key in the car, you can use a alligator cable like this. But if you don't have something like this, you can use any cable that you have. You can just peel off the tip of the cable and then hold it with your fingers on the jumper cable to give a signal to the starter like this. This is the issue that I was having with this starter. Sometimes it would start, sometimes it wouldn't. As you can see here, it didn't want to start, and now it's starting. So this starter is bad, and it looks like it's the Toyota starter, like the original starter when this car was made about in 2004, 2025. So this is a 21 years old starter. It is time for it to be replaced. When installing the battery, install the positive cable first, and then install the negative cable second, so that it doesn't make any sparks.